Oh, to go live. Hello, everyone. This intro is normally mainly for people who tend to come back for the VODs. I don't know if anybody ever does. That's a good poll to do in the future. I'll have to remind myself of that afterwards. I do look like a bit of a mess, it's got to be said. Right, time to do the almighty Discord ping. Copy, paste, at everyone. Live now. How many people do we have in the Discord server? 181 people. It's always so amazing to see that many people in the server. I mean, a few new people arrived recently. Haha, alrighty then. Bit of light, there we go. Hello, hello, hello. Stream has happened, it's right on time. Hello, Seth, good to see you. Oh, this is a bit surreal because it's Saturday, the day where streams are supposed to be happening, and it's 2 in a row. My goodness, we're actually doing pretty good so far. TFN1, hello, glad to see you made it. Oh my goodness gracious, I have a few things to talk about straight away, but then we will probably have to go back to the regular old chat questions, which is not a bad thing, but you know, it's nice to have some notes for the live streams. But the problem is, a few streams ago, I ran out of notes and things to say on the streams. It's still worth... let me go back down to where that bit was. Notes, because I do have a few things. No. There we go. We have a few people in, and I think it's worth... I don't think I've mentioned this in a while. I think it's now pointless to say, but it's always worth mentioning every time because some people might get a bit odd, or not get odd. This might look a bit odd. People might get curious. So every now and then you might see me look away. I do my recordings with mobile devices. I have my phone with me, and this is for videos, but the live streams are done with the tablet. And right now I'm looking at the camera on the tablet, and in front of me is my PC monitor with the live stream open and the chat on the screen. So if I'm ever looking down like this, that's because I'm looking at the chat. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. It's so exciting to get on with the stream, you know. Let me put my phone over there. Oh, I have some stuff to show off, but first of all, I want to make a few announcements. First of all, I suppose, general announcements in regards to the LUKR. Let me try and reposition the camera one sec, because this is... I want to be able to kind of relax a bit, kind of slouch a little bit. That's better, yeah. So it does. So it's more relaxed like this, instead of it being, you know, where you can only kind of see my head. How many bricks tall is Percy and Gordon? I have no idea. I'm not someone who measures how many bricks are in a model or how tall a model is. I think the average is about a dozen, something like that. It's around that sort of market. My Thomas characters aren't exactly big. They're based on the TV adaptations, the model series specifically. And they're, again, the 7 wide, but they're kind of basic in detail, and the overall scale isn't that big for a 7 wide model. So I think it's about 12. Again, I think 12 or 13. I saw a number of people say that's the average, well, average for that sort of build in the past, like on Facebook Lego groups. So it's not accurate. Again, I don't really know because that's not something I've measured, but around 12. I think there's about 15 bricks of height and clearance with the bridge I made on my layouts, the small road bridge that connects to the small station. I think so, but again, that's information that I haven't remembered in a long time. The stream is looking about... Sorry, just a quick test. Quick test. Yeah, okay. There was a moment where it seemed like it was lagging a little bit. The tablet screen got a bit blurry. So sadly, I can't answer the question because I don't actually have that information. What was I going to talk about? Announcements. Yes. So, no, the good stuff. So, generic LUKR club announcements. As a member of the club, I've had a grand old time being a member. If you are someone who is in the UK and you enjoy Lego building and you enjoy building train stuff specifically, the LUKR is the perfect place for you. We've always welcomed new members, And again, if you were interested, I've done loads of advertisements for the club. I don't want to push it too much and potentially annoy anybody who sees them or anybody who's in the club as well. But all the same, it's definitely something that I would love to see more members come into. We had a few members arrive in the past few weeks, which is always so much fun to see. And yeah, so again, generic LUKR advertisement is always there. Will you ever rebuild your Flying Scotsman? There was how long ago was this? Because it wasn't too long ago. I think it was a few months ago, around the time where I started. Not when I started driving lessons. It was early February. That's the only other time where I thought about rebuilding Flying Scotsman. But the problem is, it's such a boring shape. Flying Scotsman being an A3 is it's so bland now. There are so many A3s out there, and I like the one that I did at 6 wide. I'm not particularly fond of the one I did at 7 wide. And Mike's Bricks, hello Mike, good to see you made it on the stream. Nice to see you here. Yes, Mike is a LUKR member. One of the people I believe was able to. Was it you that messaged me on Discord and said if the LUKR would accept international members? Was that? I think that was you. Yeah, that's quite funny stuff. And but yeah, the LNER A3 again, not just Scotsman specifically, but that shape is something that I've seen done so many times because Scotsman is famous. You see versions of it thanks to the Emerald Knights. I don't really care for rebuilding Flying Scotsman because it's again, I don't. It's boring to me now. I'm not really one to rebuild models either. So once it is scrapped, that's it. Yes, it was you. That's pretty funny then. TFN1, I'll answer your question in just a moment because if I don't do these announcements now, I'm going to be too far into this and I'll end up forgetting the announcements. So let me actually go to my notes because I want to make sure I do this properly. To the community tab. Okay, so first of all, I said on Discord for the 10-year anniversary of the Emerald Champion, I don't really have the interest in building the Emerald Champion anymore. The problem is I have it's I don't know, what would you call this? Maybe it's a form of impatience, but this probably is a word for this. But I had that planned so far in advance, like months ago, or maybe even around the start of the year. I thought, okay, it's going to be coming up to the 10-year anniversary this year, and let's do something for it. Let's rebuild it again because, you know, of all things, why not? And because of how big the Emerald Champion is now, and the fact that I constantly have to top up on parts, and it's not a realistic engine, I could probably try a few things. Again, I'll definitely make it in a smaller, more customizable variant of some of the realistic locomotives I've built. I just lost interest. I'm not putting it on any kind of priority. Hence, like the other locomotives and things I've been doing recently, like the President class, which I've got down here, which I'm very eager to show you. But I don't. Again, it's not that I don't care for it anymore because, well, in a way that is true because obviously it's been scrapped. But I don't care for rebuilding it, which is a bit of a shame. I do have something planned. At the moment, it's just a like a bunch of community posts which highlight some of my favorite episodes because one of the December Christmas specials I did was dedicated to the Emerald Champion. That was the 2021, which was the last one I did. I skipped the 2021 version because I didn't really have any ideas for a series at the time. So yeah, ultimately TLDR, Emerald Champion, I don't think I'm going to be building it anymore. No more versions, like whatever the last version was, version 20, that's the final version. So yeah, it is it's very sad for me to say because the Emerald Champion was the literal beginning of my LEGO Railway. It was the first locomotive I had for a very long time. All the wheels and all the good parts were put onto that model, and it was only in the process of modifying it, learning new techniques, that's when it became a better model. You know, the good old days. I remember as well the early like the proper first articulated version, and I think for a few versions, maybe one version after that, the boiler was removable, and instead of it being connected to sort of disc pieces, I don't want to say hinge pieces, that's not the right word. Again, I still don't know names for bricks, but basically they had Technic rods poking downwards from the boiler, and you could easily just sit it on the two drive units, where there would be 2x4 plates with the 3 holes in them, like the 3 Technic holes, and that's how it would sit onto the wheels. Very easy to turn because obviously it's a very smooth sort of motor. It's just a rod in a hole. That's all it was. That's how it articulated. But it was also very easy to take the thing off, which was kind of fun because years ago when you looked at Lego trains, there was this, I don't think it was a short or a long, it was just a period of time where it was so fascinating to watch a video, and then you wait for the point where it's, okay, so here's what it looks like with the boiler removed, and that was a cool thing. So that was definitely something to kind of take in for nostalgia sakes. Emerald Champion, you'll always be with us because he is the king. The Emerald Champion is the king. There are a few more points to make, but let me quickly catch up with chat. So TFN, does Big Ben Bricks only sell in the UK? Big Ben Bricks is based in the US, but they do ship to the UK. So if you want to buy from Big Ben Bricks, you can do. You will have to pay an import fee, which is potentially a bit, well, you might get lucky because the last few Big Ben Bricks orders I made, they didn't charge an import fee, which I don't know if they mistook it or if I bought enough for them to add on to the overall. Again, I genuinely don't know what it was for the life of me, but I wasn't charged an import fee, so maybe you might get lucky and not have to pay that. I don't know if that's technically legal for me to even admit such information, but at the same time, it's many months later, and who gives a damn. But it does ship to the UK if you live in the UK, and it does ship, I think, globally. Like, I've never known any country that Big Ben Bricks won't ship to. Maybe Russia, given the current predicament. But even then, they should ship basically everywhere. Michael says, yes, that was me on Discord. Yeah, that's quite funny, isn't it? And I would love to collab if you want to. Well, we can try something one day. What kind of collaboration do you have in mind? As in a physical model or something digital? Digital might be easier because I can build one half of something, send it to you as a file. Then we put the two things together and, we have something. Collaborating with someone who is in a different country is obviously very difficult because, well, again, it's there, two different countries. How the hell are you going to make anything work? But yeah, I mean, like with Trace Pierce over on YouTube and on Instagram, Pierce Bricks, I think he's very active on Instagram. He's definitely very popular on Instagram, that much I do know. And every now and then when he does one of his streams, it's very interesting, quite fascinating even to see how many people tune in. So he's basically the equivalent on Instagram to like I'm doing on YouTube now. And yeah, so it's awesome to see how we could try and do some kind of collaboration with international members. Sam, who is British Bricks, every now and then I make a joking comment to him saying, become the next international member, join LUKR, I should say, because that's what the name of the club is now. And, because we would absolutely love to have you on. And he kind of puts it off because he, again, he has his own life and whatever else. If we could get him in the club, I would be so happy. That would be just amazing. Ty Straz, hello. I believe this is your first time joining into a live stream. I don't recognize your username for these streams, so hello. Have you ever tried, or would you ever try, your hand at some more American-style locomotives? Well, no. This is a question I think I was asked for the... I think someone's asked it for the 10-year anniversary of me being on YouTube. I think someone has asked me about, are you going to make more American trains? Somebody's asked it somewhere. I think it's in there. It's too many questions to find. But it would be interesting to pick an American locomotive to build. Big Boy is something that so many people would choose. And I have built a version of it. I would definitely rebuild it in a much better way compared to how I built it back. I think Big Boy was a late 2018 or early 2019 build. Even like 3 years ago. 3.5 years ago. My build methods are so different now. It's so cool, but at the same time, it's a shame I'm probably not going to take advantage of that for a past model. Oh well. Oh, pardon me. Oh, let's hope this isn't going to be just like the last stream where I was burping every few minutes. So after that is Seth's question. Okay, I will take a quick break from the chat 1 second so I can get on with the next announcement. So in regards to not doing stuff anymore, and speaking of losing motivation as well, 10 cents is my pride tugboat. This is my 10 cents model. I've done a video of him, and that video is still on my channel and has done quite well. I'm amazed that during the sort of tugs high that went on, people still had genuine interest to kind of see this. I have my amazing. Hang on, let me grab Billy's shoe pack because I did make 2 tugs. To anybody who hasn't seen to anybody who doesn't know what tugs is, it's a spin-off series from Thomas the Tank Engine. Look it up because it's so fascinating. The Unlucky Tug did a 2-hour video of it. It's beautiful. Just hang on. Billy shoe pack. So I've built 2 tugs characters. I love them very much. 10 cents has had a bit of a modification. I've taken some of the red pieces off of his smokestack in order to make my president class, which is not the nicest thing ever. But at the same time, it's for a worthy cause, and it does save me having to make a brick recorder. The third tug I was going to make was Hercules. Some people might even recognize the little box of parts, and you may also recognize how there are less parts in here. Just like with the new version of the Emerald Champion, I have officially lost motivation to build Hercules. And I purposefully waited until today to give it a try, because today I had a planned visit to go to the Lego shop. And I was going to go to the Pick-a-Brick wall because there is a certain, well, Pick-a-Brick, it's not exactly too exciting, but basically on the wall there were 2x4 black bricks. And I thought I can get loads of those and use them to build up the hull for Hercules, because that could work really well. But having, again, the idea to want to build Hercules was months ago at this point, and again, I just lost interest, which is such a shame, because this massive tugboat that would have been 3.5 feet long would have been such a cool model to have, in the same way as Deathwing, which is up there. You can't see it from this angle, but basically my massive dragon with the big wings that kind of droop. You can kind of see it. So there, that sort of wing piece, that's part of my big Deathwing model, and I had the genuine idea to kind of build the entire body and some much better wings, which was going to be that would have been my largest ever Lego model. But after reaching a certain point, kind of not so much hitting a wall, but I arbitrarily decided I just don't want to, which is a real shame, because it can turn into something amazing. Maybe one day, if I'm truly bored and I'm fed up of trains, I might give Deathwing a proper go, because it hasn't been taken apart. It's just sat up there. And so far, the head is beautiful. I still love the way how I was able to build that head. The wings, again, definitely need rebuilding because they're just naff now. But yeah, it's a shame that that's 3 big builds. I mean, Emerald Champion isn't going to be as big as it was previously, but that's still a massive project because it's Emerald Champion. Hercules the tugboat, again, massive build, and Deathwing, that's going to be at least 5 feet tall if I completed the body. If I stood up next to it, his head will probably come up to armpit level maybe, and I'm genuinely serious about that. I mean, it would have been absolutely massive. And sadly, I've just lost motivation. The overall size of Hercules and Deathwing would have been a big problem because, I've built them. Where do I store them? I've made this note so many times in the past. With all the stuff I've had, and I'm still going to be getting, where am I going to store this all? There's a bit of a question. So, yeah. Let's carry on back to chat now. So that's the other stream notes. Oh yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to quickly do. Before I go back to chat, I'm going to head over to my community tab and look at some of the polls, because I've been doing polls. I try to make it known at the end of each video. So, thank you for watching. Be sure to keep an eye out on the community tab for polls and updates. I'm making sure to remember to, say that bit at the end. So we have a few polls. The first one I'm going to look at is with the custom corridor tender that I made for the corona. Oh, I boxed it up now. All right, that I can't get. Now that the long custom corridor tender has been built, Josh, hello, good to see you. I am aware that chat is also catching up with a few extra comments. I will get to that in a moment, I promise. Again, Josh, good to see you. Glad to see that you can make it for the stream. So 50 people took part as to in this poll as to whether they preferred the bigger tender, like the custom one, or the shorter standard tender. And rather interestingly, 60% of people preferred the shorter tender. The long tender was cool, and once you see something new, you're like, oh yeah, that's definitely the best. I didn't think it would be that close. I thought it would be like 80% to 20% or something, like, you know, arbitrarily, obviously, like two different ends. But for it to be a 60-40 split, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's definitely something where a lot, well, 50 people, that's not exactly a lot, but a number of people who took part in the poll made that result. So that's really cool. And the other one is about the custom exploding kittens cards. Let me go back to the video manager. So for the longest time, especially in the last live stream as well, at least one person asked if they wanted, or if they could see the custom cards I made for Exploding Kittens. There is a new expansion coming out. In the meantime, I did learn that there was a new expansion coming out for Exploding Kittens. It's called Zombie Kittens, and it apparently includes player resurrection. Either way, I am absolutely there for it because I love that game so much. Sadly, these videos did not perform too well, but at the same time, I get as to why, because it's a card game, it's not Lego Trains, and I've said this so many times in the past. With my channel, it's based around Lego Trains, and if I do a video that isn't based on Lego Trains, no one's going to care. Again, I'm aware of that, but you know, it's still a bit sad to see something like this. And I did say in that poll, which of the 3 expansions do you prefer the most? Only 13 people took part in this one, sadly, but basically everyone chose Volatile Kittens, which I believe was the first one, which also had the least amount of cards, but I think the most creative ones were in that expansion. So that's also a pretty cool notice. Right, let's get rid of that tab. And now let's go back to chat. There was a question by Seth Bright. Have you or do you plan to do an engineering course in university? I didn't go to university. At 18 here in the UK, college finishes and then you go on to uni. I'm not doing university. So straight away, no. I will not go through the financial hell of university. This is a Dark. Hello, glad to see you made it, as well as all the other people who was able to tune in for this stream and are still around and can spare the time for this stream. RK, hello, good to see you as well. Hi Luke, quick question. Have you ever thought of making stop motion animations? Yes, of course. I have had the idea to make my own series with my Lego Trains for genuinely years. It was, to try and pick a point how long ago it was is never going to work. But there was a long time ago where I thought I would love to make just a series with the trains, like my own version of Thomas, but the trains won't have characters or faces or voices. It will be more focused on the people and, you know, world building elements, and the stories I would come up with would be so amazing at times. But yeah, I mean, I would love to, but in this room, what the hell am I going to get done? I mean, really. Oh, well. Union Pacific fan 4014, greetings. Hello, glad to see you made it. There is a Scottish train called the Jacobite Steam Train. That sounds familiar. Let me quickly look that up because I think I saw a Lego version of that recently. I love how the screen just gets a bit brighter when I open up a new tab. Image, what does it look like? Oh, it's that engine. Jacobite. It's just a B1, isn't it? That looks very much like a B1. Evidently, it's not a B1, it's a Jacobite, but I suppose it's something at least similar. Oh, this is a Mogul. Oh, so it's not a B1. It's like a smaller B1, basically. Oh, yeah, that's not too bad. I won't build it because, again, that's something else I'll mention in a moment too. Back to RK. Yes, the boat here is made of boat. I still love that meme. Someone asked me on Discord for the 10-year Q&A, what's your favorite meme that's basically come out over the past number of years? And one of them, every now and then, I do take the piss with some people that I have chats with, where it's like, yes. The one with Buzz Lightyear basically stretching his neck. That's funny. I love that one. It's not so much in any of the Lego Train Club chats. It's more with individual people. There's a few people I've chatted with outside of clubs or anything. It's more just personal life stuff, and that's one I try to kind of squeeze in every now and then. That's really funny. I'd like to see a Jacobite steam train out of Lego if you haven't done one already. Again, I'm not really in the mood to make such a locomotive. Um, one might exist. Again, I've said this a few times recently, where if you look one up in Lego form, it probably does exist somewhere. I think in this case, one probably hasn't been made. Again, it doesn't look too complicated, so it can be done, obviously. Seth Brick says, I know you have Henrietta, but do you have Annie and Clarabelle? No, I don't have Annie and Clarabelle yet. I think I should start to actually get on with building them, because I have spare power function setups now, and it would be good to actually, try and use them. To make Annie and Clarabelle for my Thomas model too, because my Thomas, well, basically all my trains rather, are not powered. I basically shove it all in the coaches. And that's another thing as well. What was I saying? Yeah, so Annie and Clarabelle. I think if I'm going to make them, I could make a standard and a powered version, where I think Annie will be the powered version, so it's kind of pushing and pulling at the same time. That's definitely something to work on. But yeah, eventually I have to get on with making Annie and Clarabelle. So Union Pacific Fan also says, I'm gonna start the construction of a locomotive today. Oh, and he heads off to go off and make it. I wonder if he's gonna be making the Jacobites. That'd be pretty good. That's a good project for you. I mean, it's a locomotive you evidently seem to have interest in, so yeah, go for it. Some more people are showing up in chat. Hello, Victor101. Glad to see you made it. I'm just catching up with the chat, so if you do ask a question, it might take a few minutes for me to get to it. Big engine, big tender. Yeah, this is when I was talking about the large coronation tender. Metroliner coronation. Yeah, I know. I do agree in the fact that it would suit that version of the coronation a lot more. Quick apology if you can hear any noise outside. There is a guy revving his engine, and he's probably going to be here for another minute or two. So if you can hear it, again, I do apologize. RK, I would fully support and watch any stop motion videos you make. Oh yes, it would be one hell of a project, but one day that's absolutely on the list. If I can reach a point in life where the layout is just on display all the time, that's when it's basically going to begin. That'd be just the best. And this is a Duck says, do you have a job? And if you do, what is it? Yes, I have a job, but I do not wish to part with that information. Events have been transpiring where my job has been getting... what's the word I need to use here? Not so much difficult. Not really exciting either, but things have been picking up. It's a job that isn't exactly fun, and yeah, I'd rather not speak about my working life whilst I'm here on YouTube. So sadly, that's a question I'm gonna have to forfeit. Back to RK, who says you could build a large tool shed for filming in your backyard. Our garden is not set up for any kind of filming, especially in the area that I live in. Well, by default, we live in England, so weather is foul. If it's not foul, it's stupidly hot. Like today, it was so hot and sunny today, which is beautiful, but I had to spend... How long of a walk is it? Because I went into the town centre to go to the Lego shop. Then I went to the Smith's toy store to buy a Nerf blaster, which is another thing I'll show you later on. And it was at least somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes on the walk home, because the buses didn't go from that route, basically from the toy shop to an area near my home, so I was forced to walk. And in the baking hot sun, it's been a long while since I've had to walk in such heat. And yeah, needless to say, I had a shower when I got in earlier today. So yeah, you're looking at a double showered Luke Triton. I feel very clean. Oh dearie dear. But yes, in all seriousness, yeah, back to the question, because that was completely related. Backyard stuff, it's not set up for it either. It's such a shame, because again, I would love to do so much, but my current living condition kind of forces me to not be able to do so. It's beyond my control. Again, it's something that I'm not using this as an excuse either. I genuinely, if I could do this, it would have been done a long time ago, but I just can't, which is a real shame. Mike, you have a weird username for YouTube. What is it? Arclone? Well, I know you as Mike Bricks now, and again as Mike from the LUKR, so I need to remember anytime I see that username, it's Mike. So after you are done with all your announcements, would it be alright if I join the stream? I have no idea how you would be able to join. Not in a sense where I don't want. It would be cool to get some guests. That would definitely be cool. But I don't have an idea. I think if anything, it would have to be on Discord, because this is something I've done in the. This could work, you know. So there we go. Darker screen. So YouTube on the bright tab, Discord. I love how you can see just the brightness change. But yeah, one thing I've done in the past, I've hosted a few voice chats with certain peoples on Discord. And well, what I mean by that is basically I did a few games nights on my server many months ago. And whilst we were playing a game, I had to basically take out my headphones and have the audio come through the speakers. So that way it can go through the mic and they can hear anything that's coming through my PC. And in turn, it wasn't actually, oh, that again, that did technically work, but that's not what I'm trying to mean. What I mean is, what I'm trying to mean. Good Lord. I cannot English. I think that's pretty well established as well. Let me go back to the brighter screen. So what I'm basically trying to say is, if I were to have a guest, I would probably have to set it up on Discord because, you know, obviously I've got a server for it. It would have to be set up where there's no headphone usage at all, because the audio would have to come through the speaker in order for the audience to hear it. Again, I'm recording through a tablet. I can't exactly do anything high tech. This isn't a high tech setup here. So yeah, but I think that's the only way it can work. But I'd have to do some tests. I would definitely like to get some guests on one day, but I will have to figure it out. Okay, so that was Victor. Hello to Victor as well. I want to eventually make the Jacobites train eventually when I get more wheels. Let me have another quick look at the what was the tab? We can just get that one back up. Jacobite steam train. What size drive wheels? Because you might be able to get away with using normal size drivers. Can I get a side shot? Is there a good side view? Not quite. Again, not the right angle. This looks like an engine where you can get away. Oh, here we go. That is a bit. At the same time, I don't know. You could definitely get away with using standard Lego drive wheels for this engine. I can understand your desire to go one large and go with extra large. Voice break. Yeah. Apologies if you hear that every now and then as well, because I'm not used to talking despite me having done YouTube videos, and every now and then I involuntarily do a voice break. So if you do hear one, make sure you point and laugh, because I shouldn't be voice breaking at the age of 24. Back to the train. Again, I think you can get away with using standard large drive wheels because that definitely suits that look. I think, going against what I said a moment ago, if you were to go one larger, that might actually look a bit bad. So I think you should just bricklink some wheels and you'll be sorted. You can even use the standard solid wheel sets that you see with Lego train sets for the tender, because that will save you a bit of hassle. And again, it's not too complicated. Yeah, that would be a very interesting thing to see. Again, not something that I would personally go for, but it's not exactly a challenge, so you can definitely give it a proper good go. I'd like to see that one day, but sadly, not from myself. Okay. You need to change. Well, for a multi-person stream, it will need to be Discord or Zoom. Well, yes, again, it will be. I won't use Zoom. I've had problems with Zoom, and that's just a pain in the ass I will not go through. Again, I have a Discord server, so I may as well take advantage of it and use that. This is Duck afterwards saying, it would be cool if you did a different guest for each stream. That would imply that people are available at this time in the week. Oh, that's the second burp of the stream. So this is Saturday nights here in the UK. It is now currently 8:35 p.m. with this stream starting at 8 o'clock. Other people have lives. I have no idea what they would be doing. They could be busy on their Saturday nights. They could actually be doing something more productive than sitting in their bedroom watching a live stream. I mean, I don't know. I could get people from my Discord server to join in, but it would have to be carefully done because there are some people that I can trust more than others. Like my moderators, for example. That's the word I'm looking for. Like my moderators, I can definitely trust them for an opportunity to come on the stream and kind of join in. Seth Briggs, this is someone I've known for a good long while now. Again, I know that he is someone that is definitely trustworthy, but given the time zones, I don't know how easy it will be for him to take part. Again, even with the moderators, no, I don't think any of them live in the UK. Speaking of moderators, I need to sort something out with that. So many notes. I mean, I've said, oh yeah, that's something I need to get on with later, but I don't think I remembered anything I said earlier. But yes, in all seriousness, getting a guest on would be very fun, but figuring it out, that's not really what you want. It's 7:30 for you here. Well, in Australia. Yeah, that's exactly the sort of thing I mean. It's not easy. I mean, if it was Saturday and even that wouldn't work because for me it would be very late and I still live with my parents, and if I'm doing this 9, 10, anything after 10 p.m. basically, they would not be happy because obviously they want to be able to get to sleep, and I want to make sure I can still enjoy doing stuff without disrupting anybody's sleep. So yeah, let's move on before I go off on another tangent. RK said he had to leave. No worries, RK. Thank you so much for tuning in for as long as you did. TFN1 says you recommend StreamYard. I think someone else suggested. Was it Josh? Josh, if you're still here, was that you that suggested StreamYard for something? I'm probably misremembering, but I feel like somebody suggested StreamYard for something in the past, but I don't remember what the context was. Oh yeah, now it's time for our not sponsored drink. Wow, that's the good stuff. I had one of these in the fridge over the past few days. After walking home in the baking hot sun, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, got that out of the fridge and basically chugged as much as my lungs would allow me to take without having to force a breath. Just a nice cold drink. It's so good. Back to Union Pacific fan, who says, I eventually want to build a Henry, Gordon, and maybe rebuild James and Edward, and the only engine I currently have is Thomas. Do you have any pictures of your Thomas models, or maybe even any digital variants of the other Thomas characters you have mentioned there? If so, let's see them on Discord, assuming that you're part of the server. If you're not in the server, then we would love to have you on, because we basically celebrate the Lego Train hobby, as well as a few other things. So yeah, let's see if you've got any ideas for it. Even then, have a look at the ones that I've made. The Thomas characters that I've built are simple on purpose. They're very basic builds, despite the fact that they look, obviously, like the characters. It's not exactly a complicated model. They're simple on purpose. They're not realistic takes, well, barring Spencer, but that's its own certain circumstance. If you look at Gordon, for example, again, it's an A3, but it looks like Gordon more so than it looks like an A3. The details are acquired by lining tape, but again, that's his own thing that you don't necessarily need to worry about. You can find my Thomas and James in my videos. You have videos? Oh, do you now? Right, I'm going to do a bit of research once. I can't play your videos or any audio because YouTube will go mental when it comes to copyright stuff. Seth. Let me just read this out one sec. Luke, my Thomas models are pretty simple. Gibbs laughs. So to anybody who doesn't know, there is a guy on Discord. I don't know. Is Gibbs on? Gibbs is on Twitter, isn't he? You're gonna have to help me out a bit here, Seth, because my brain doesn't always work. There's a guy basically on Discord, and he's called Mutant Gibbs, and he does realistic versions of the Thomas characters, and he's got aspirations to make more trains. He has a physical model of Gordon, at least his Gordon boiler. This is the most detailed Lego train I've ever seen in my life. You've got people like Liam Biggs, you've got debatably some of the models that I've made, some of the models that have appeared throughout the LUKR, you've got British Bricks, but what Gibbs has made, it's a whole new level. The fact that he's been able to squeeze in all these tiny little details just to bring out more busyness into his models. Oh my god, that's just amazing to see. I absolutely love it. So yeah, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, we're gonna do some. I'm gonna quickly watch a few videos with from the Union Pacific fan channel. Let's see your Thomas and Gordon. Are they gonna be easy to find? I can't spend too much time looking for this, sadly. Tell you what, whilst I'm at it, shout out to Union Pacific fan 4014. Go sub, because he's an up and coming Lego train builder. Show him some love. Tell him that I sent him. Tell him that I sent you my way. Tell him I sent you his way. I still can't English. I don't know if you figured this out yet. My good lord. I think I found Thomas. Right, I found that I can't obviously see the James model, so I'm gonna have to stick with Thomas. Even then, that's a good starting shape. I mean, it's basically the Thomas shape, but it's now at a point where you just need to refine it. You got the splasher, you got the water tank size, the boiler's the right length, the cab shape is fine, you got the coal bunker. Basically, you got the Thomas shape there. What you would need to do next is, first of all, I would say work on the wheels. In your first video, okay, let me quickly have a look. But yes, something I would say that you should do first is look at wheels in whatever way you find as possible. My Thomas model has 3D printed wheels, but what I basically mean is the center drive wheel is blind. It doesn't have a flange, and that will make things infinitely easier than the arrangement that you currently have. At least the one that I saw in the video. You got 3 standard sort of the wheels that were fit in motors, but that's I think they're called small wheels, but even then, train wheels, basically train wheels. Mock video part 1. Okay, let's go with that one. Sticking to that is fine because obviously it's a temporary thing, but you can't stick to that for too long because that middle flange is going to be a nightmare to deal with. Even then, that Thomas, I'm watching your first video now, or technically I've paused it so I can get a good look at the Thomas model. Even then, that's a good shape. You've got it there. I like how you've got a sticker of a number 1 too. That's really good. Where's James? Oh, has anybody heard that song? It was the song that was my nose. The song that was featured in the Unlucky Tugs video for James, for his, what's he called again? Soda's Finest. That was it. For the intro, there was a jazzy version of James's theme song with lyrics, and I want to say I'm obsessed with it because whenever I hear it, I kind of sing that first bit. I haven't actually learned what the lyrics are for the rest of the song, but I just love it so much. And yeah, even then for your James model here, I'm looking at it, the tender shape you have, that's basically the same tender design that I've built. Again, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. And again, the Thomas characters are somewhat simple in shape, so you don't necessarily need to add too much more detail to this. It's just more of a matter of refining it than it is to adding more details necessarily. It's the point of replacing some bricks with other ones so that way you get a more accurate shape, that sort of thing. Headmaster Hastings, James, the really splendid engine. Yes, that's the one. So good. Absolutely beautiful. Again, I wish I could play it here because it's amazing, but I can't because YouTube copyright mess. But yeah, basically, Union Pacific fan 4014, your Thomas and James models are fine. And as you grow older, as you will continue to play Lego trains, and well, Lego in general, really, you will discover techniques and methods that will refine your models to a much nicer state. This is a fine model. I mean, there's nothing bad with it, but it does show obviously early stages of development. It's just a matter of time, basically. It's nothing. You got nothing to worry about. So Gibbs is on Twitter, yes. The Lego Railways, yes, that's his name. It would be helpful if people on multiple social media platforms had the same sodding username. Just do what I do, use your name, that way people can recognize you no matter where you are, for goodness sakes. Mutant Gibbs on one place, Lego Railway Series on another place. How am I going to remember? Awful. I missed a message from Mike earlier. Sorry, I might be late to this, but what is the best overall novel and season of the Railway Series / Thomas and Friends? I never read any of the books. That was kind of before my time. Even with some of the later books, I never really knew they existed. When it comes to the Thomas and Friends series, I haven't watched it in a while. I'm supposed to be on a binge, but I'm currently at season 9. And the reason why I haven't watched it in a while because it's getting so boring. We're in this era now where classic is always the best. Then it's the hit era. Then it's the Miller era. Fucking Lord. Then it's the Brenner era. You got the two great eras on the outside, and you have to go through this sort of drudge of these really two awful eras and a load of bad episodes. It's taken a while. So to pick something good in those two middle eras, don't waste your time. But at the moment, what was the question? Let me just make sure I'm reading the question correct. What was the best season? Not necessarily best episode. Season 3, 4, and 5, a lot of people absolutely praise. And rightfully so, having revisited Classic, those 3 seasons are definitely the best. The step up in quality from the first 2 seasons coming into season 3, I think it's the narration as well. If Ringo Starr stayed on for whatever reason, it would definitely have a different feel in the episodes. But I would probably say season 5 or 6. When you look at season 6 and 7, you can definitely see some of the like the glimmer, basically, of some of the glimmer of what you would see in the hit era seasons. Like Thomas's face when he's a bit, concerned. I'm not going to try and replicate the face. I don't want that to potentially become a meme. But yeah, you can see hints as to what the hit era will overall look like. And yeah, I'd say probably season 6 or 7, because it's still classic and there's still good episodes, but that's when it begins to expand beyond the books. And I think that's pretty cool. So season 6, I think Spencer was introduced in season 7, but season 6 has my favourite episode, Thomas and the Jet Engine. So I'm a bit stuck. Let me just make sure I'm capturing up my chat. So there's I use the slopes like with Luke's old Thomas model. Ah, my old Thomas model. That video still gets views, by the way. My How to Build Thomas and the old Thomas model showcase video, they still get views. I don't know why people are going back to watch them, maybe for nostalgia's sakes, but I don't know why people are still going back to watch those videos. They are bad videos now. Well, the old Thomas model, that's 2018. That much I do remember. That's a bad model. But my How to Build Thomas, I suppose, makes sense because you got a very, a fairly simple version of Thomas made out of Lego. And I am showing you brick by brick how to make it. And the fact I was holding 2 in my hands at the end of the video, that was cool. That was so cool. You've made the Challenger and the 119 and plan to make Jupiter 60, aka Jupiter someday. That'd be good. But the 119 I have made has been taken apart for various reasons. Yeah, I definitely get that too. There's been a number of models I've taken apart just so I can have the parts. Even then, there's other reasons like I just don't like how that looks anymore. I've had my fun with it. I don't want the model anymore. But yeah, I totally get it. Right, we have 10 minutes left. Let's finally get on with the stuff I want to show you. Good lord, this took way too long to do. So, as I mentioned earlier, a few times in the stream actually, I have bought a new Nerf blaster today, and it is this one. This is the Elite 2.0 Eagle Point. There we are. I had to look at the blaster to remember the name. It's not bad when it comes to proportions. That's actually really nice. Obviously a bit short in the stock, but even then that's not too much of a problem. Basically, Nerf videos are coming back. Uh, Jolt King never made it to the stream, didn't he? I think he knows anyway because I did say I bought this on the Discord server. I love. Can we just take a moment to appreciate what is, without a doubt, the best looking barrel attachment ever made ever, besides the Chrono barrel. Visually, this is such a beautiful shape. Look at that! It's like the suppressor, but it has a barrel on the bottom, but it's stylized in a way where it looks wonderful. Coop did a review of this about a week ago, I want to say. And I suppose that was the point where I thought, yeah, okay, I think I'm now convinced to want to get one. The scope as well. Oh my god. The two attachments for this blaster are so amazing. It looks wonderful. Yeah, and overall, I've had a play with it. It feeds mostly well. I've had a few hiccups with the feeding system, but I don't know if that's just because of human error and or the quality of the darts. The darts I have here, you're not going to be able to see that, but basically, they kind of are a bit squished at this end. That's because I've had this in the... These are the darts that come with the Flip 32, and I've kept them in that blaster for the longest time because organizing the Nerf stuff here was a bit of a disaster. So yeah, the review for this is going to be happening as well as the combos. And the combos for the Phoenix. Finally going to get around to doing that. Very much overdue, but all the same, excited to do some Nerf stuff again. I would like to think on something really. In the past, when it came to the Nerf hobby, I made some custom attachments, custom versions, kind of handmade versions of attachments that already existed, just because at the time I couldn't get my hands on them, and other attachments that I would have loved to have seen recognized in real life. Things like a separately attachable demolisher rocket launcher. Basically, just before I carry on, I've got my Nerf stuff to the side of me right here, next to my PC setup. It's always been here, but earlier today I was able to kind of reorganize it so it's easier to take things in and out, especially because the box with attachments is now right here. So if I ever want to do combos in the future for future blasters, or even if I just want to have a play around with my favorite blaster, the Regulator, very good blaster, I've got all my attachments right here. I've said this before as well. The attachments, that side of the Nerf hobby is my favorite thing ever because it's very toy-like. I'm getting tempted. I'm just looking in the box. There's so much here to play with again. It's so good. So yeah, that's the Nerf side. Oh yeah, the thing I want to quickly, Seth, I see your question. You should know that. You can answer your own question. Oh, hang on. I've slightly misread it, but even then, I think one answer is valid and the rest can, whatever. But genuinely, just for a genuine moment when it comes to Nerf, having mentioned the custom attachments, I would love to commission some custom attachments. And I don't know how easy this would be or who would be available for this. If there is someone available for this, then please help me get in touch with people who do 3D printing, because I would like to see some of this stuff get recognized. So at the moment, whenever I kind of get back into Nerf hobby, like again, buying a blaster, that's a very instant slope to, oh yeah, all these ideas I've got. So I got a few custom attachment ideas. Well, custom in the sense that Nerf or no other foam dart blasting company has made such attachments. Again, so this is why I would say, okay, if there's anybody who can 3D print things, I would love to see their help or assistance into making such an attachment viable. Oh, pardon me, that's number 3. Oh. So yeah, that'd be, I'm probably going to ask on the Discord. I'll probably have to ask around on other places as well, because I would genuinely love to try and see some of this stuff recognized. It would be just amazing. So now that the Nerf stuff is out of the way, I can now answer those questions real quick, because we're going to back to Lego stuff. So Seth, what is your favorite loco from each of the big 4? I originally thought that said, what is your favorite of the big 4? Then what is your favorite loco? And then I realized what the question actually meant. So with the LNER, it's the P2. It's a beautiful locomotive, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Prince of Wales come to life. It's very close to finishing stages. They put a video out a week or two ago saying they've made a huge milestone. I think the milestone in particular was the drive rods have been attached to the drive wheels, and a full successful rotation was made. So with that, they can go forward with more construction. They don't have to worry about fixing anything, and that's, you know, very exciting stuff. For the LMS, it's the coronation. I mean, silly, silly bit there. Great Western, I'm not too sure because I don't really kind of focus too much on anything that isn't LMS. I mean, even then, I can't really say one in particular because I've got a few LNER things, but that was early days. I have a few Great Western things, technically. I don't really have anything Southern, and I'm very biased between anything that's in the LMS. The W1, yeah, that was pretty good, but that's an old model. That was on my to-build list to rebuild, but I've basically gotten rid of my to-build list. It's gone now. I don't care for it anymore. Everything I want to build is basically built. All the other locos that were on there were basically rebuilds. I don't have time for that. I don't care. So sadly, rebuilding my W1 will not be recognized. But one of the LUKR members, I believe it's the guy who runs Brecklin Bricks. I think he said he wants to give building the W1 a proper go. Shout out to Ewart Rowling as well, who made an LNER. Letters in English. So shout out to Ewart Rowling, who made an LNER W1 for the Brick Train Awards and won best steam locomotive globally. I'm going mad. Good lord. This is what happens when you talk so much, okay? Just, again, I'm someone who doesn't do a lot of talking, despite the fact that I do YouTube. This is something that happens so often. All of this blah, blah, blah. That's the stuff that you don't see when I record my videos. That all gets cut out, and that's like 2/3 of the recordings as well. So back to trying to answer your questions. Great Western, I'd probably say City of Troy because, again, I've built that out of Lego and it's a model I am very fond of. As for Southern, I don't think I've built any Southern locos. Actually, I have, technically. I've built a West Country and I have built the Q1. The Q1 is probably going to be the one I'll say because the Q1 has a very rich history, again, with all the nicknames, but in terms of proving how useful it was, I'll say the Q1. I have made a West Country, but there's a fair few of those out there as well. The Q1, that's a good one. Union Pacific fan also says, do you like ships like the Titanic or anything too? No, my maritime love only came from tugs, so anything from tugs is all I really care about. Even that's kind of going down now because the tugs hype has kind of calmed. So if it isn't a tugboat, I'm not going to really care. I mean, you got things like the Titanic, again, all these famous boats and sea shanties, that's its own popular thing. But sadly, no, I don't really care for ships either. Again, I'm more on the railway side of things, not necessarily boats, despite my enjoyment for the tug series, but that's basically it. TFN1 says, is Lady disassembled? Nope. Lady is still intact, and Lady was given a face many months ago when I was making... What model was it? Was it? I think it was at the same time of making Douglas. I want to say that point. Or maybe the one I was making after Douglas. I was able to buy a few toys for the faces and discovered, oh yeah, there is a toy of Lady, so I can get the face off of Lady off of that toy and then finally give it a face. So yeah, even then, Lady is such a unique model. It's never going to be taken apart. Even then, it's a Thomas character. So it definitely won't be taken apart. Why would I? It has no reason to be disassembled. That's just daft. Right, we are very close to ending the stream because we are approaching 9 o'clock and the chat seems to have slowed down quite a bit. So let's show off the last few things before we round off. So, having mentioned earlier that I went to the Lego shop today, I got a number of things. Some Harry Potter sets for my older sister, some Pick-a-Brick cups, and Looney Tunes brick heads. This is wonderful. I think this is so amazing. I don't know what else Lego have done with Looney Tunes. They did the collectible minifigure series, but that's basically it. It's very obscure for Lego to want to go with something like Looney Tunes. Not that Looney Tunes itself is obscure, because, loads of people know Looney Tunes, but we got this out of Lego. It's a product. That's so cool. I love it. Absolutely love it. And speaking of Lego, so if anybody who is watching the stream today is in my Discord server, you will have seen the massive flood of pictures that I posted recently. My latest creation has been built, and I had to make a modification in order for it to run properly. So basically, it is the Precedence class. Look at this beautiful model. This doesn't really do it any justice. I strongly recommend you go to my Discord server and just have a look at all the pictures I've posted, because there's proper daylight, you can see them clearly. It's beautiful. So the modification I had to make after those pictures were taken, it was basically in a test to make sure that it can actually run properly. The drive wheels, now, at least as you can see, are very smooth. Previously, they weren't, and I was trying to figure out what the problem was. There weren't any bricks rubbing against the wheels. I made sure all the gaps were fine. It's with the wheels themselves, and I can't demonstrate this too well. Maybe there? I don't know. But with Big Ben Bricks wheels, they are so thick. I hate it so much because it makes trying to make models difficult. And can you hear this? Well, you won't be able to, but so there, right there, my fingernail is catching on what I call a lip, where the kind of rim of the wheel is kind of sticking out just a little bit more than the actual spokes and the rest of the wheel as a whole. That is so infuriating. So what I had to do after discovering that lip was basically the problem on the drive wheels, because it was catching against what I have for the drive rods. It's basically a tile with a few pins, but that lip was rubbing against the underside of the tile, so it couldn't move freely at all. So I had to take the wheels off and sand it, basically take the wheels off, some sandpaper, and kind of force it against the sandpaper to make it smooth and basically get rid of that lip, because it was so infuriating. I've stocked up on Big Ben Bricks wheels anyways, and this is a bit of a unique issue because I've never encountered such a problem before. But they're the only people I know who produce Lego compatible train wheels with a lip. I think others, like 3D printed ones, do as well, but it's nowhere near as bad as this. It's just so infuriating, because I was ready to get all the tools out and do some stupid kind of modification, only to find out it was a very simple one. And yeah, we have something much better. Look at this. Look at the lining. I did so much work when it came to the lining for this model. This is by far my best ever lined locomotive. Like, you look at my Coronation, for example, and obviously that's got some good lining at the front, but with the efforts I went through to get this to look like this, it's by far and away my best lined model. I'll quickly show off the tender as well, because I haven't really done that. Yeah, here we go. It goes down there. And this one is a very handsome little tender. By the way, this locomotive is 8 studs wide. It had to be to accommodate the design around the drive wheels. But yeah, it's a handsome little build. I love this so much. And you will be able to see more of the detail again in the pictures in the Discord server, as well as the video I will be making on this locomotive. This is a mock showcase video you will definitely want to tune in for. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, I'm going to catch up with chat one more time, and then I'm going to be ending the stream, as we have gone past 9 o'clock now. It's approaching 5 past. So you tried making Donald and Douglas out of Lego, but didn't really look like that. Didn't really look that good, and they were taken apart. Donald and Douglas are based on the Caledonian 812s, and I still think that locomotive is small. It's a tender engine, but it's very short in height. It doesn't look right when I put it next to my other models, but technically it's correct. So there's that sense to it, but at the same time, it's supposed to be that way, but it just looks wrong. So there are versions of that model that you can build that is technically correct, but it won't look good. So I can kind of understand what you mean with that. So yeah, well, they weren't finished either, and didn't have wheels for both tenders. Yeah, fair enough. Again, the ability to kind of have enough parts to be able to build more than one model at a time. I'm someone who only ever builds one model at a time. The only instance that I can remember genuinely where I was building up more than one model at a time was the last 5 coronation coaches. Having to make sure I was building all the bodies up at the same time, all the roofs at the same time, so I then complete them all at the same time. It was infuriating because I spent so much money on bricklink orders, it was just a nightmare. TFN1 says, I'm watching the stream and building Green Gordon. Oh, Henry. Or you could be building Gordon in a green livery. That would be a very interesting thing to see. Or is that another slang way of saying Flying Scotsman? Because Gordon and Flying Scotsman are the same logo, but Scotsman is green. This is elaboration that we're probably not going to really need, though, because the stream is about to end. Yes, so that will do it. Yes, the green livery. Oh, okay, fair enough. A green livery Gordon. We'll definitely get some pictures of that on the Discord server because that will be a very fun thing to see. Right, it is now 9:05. We should have ended this 5 minutes ago, but this has been a very, very good stream. I've been talking non-stop. There have been no blank spots. There have been no sort of boring areas. A good amount of people were able to tune in for the stream, and that is just wonderful to see. So thank you ever so much to everybody who tuned in. Another stream next Saturday, unless you are otherwise told. Always assume that the next stream will be happening next Saturday. We're 2 weeks in a row on Saturday nights, which is wonderful, and I'm hoping to keep that streak going. I'm going to try and see if there's a few people around for the streams in the future, like try and figure out some guests. I don't know how easy that's going to be. Again, like I said earlier, trying to find the right people for it. They got the right time to spare for it, and someone's still willing to stick around for the entire stream, ideally. That's going to be a challenge. But I will look into it. We'll see what we can do. And, oh yeah, again, remember, some Nerf videos are coming back. Sometimes these Nerf videos don't perform too well, but whenever a video comes out of the blue that isn't Lego Train related, it just tanks in performance, which is understandable, but at the same time, it's kind of unfair because it does get announced in advance. So it's at the same time, it's a bit selfish for me to go, where's the hundreds of views? People don't take the interest in it. That's completely fine. So that's a heads up for that as well. And we are basically done. What is going on over there? Okay, never mind. I'm just seeing things. Right, so thank you all ever so much for watching. For the final time, next Saturday for the live stream. Again, same time, same place, in this room, on this channel. Having a great time interacting with the chat. Thanks again for watching. I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. And end.